Talking with the experts.
In episode 343, Steve Feld enlightens us how, as business owners, we can enter into joint ventures with other business owners.
So he started developing joint venture relationships with people who had podcast studios in different parts of the country.
Oh.
So if I wasn't in your side of the town, I can you could say, hey, go see, John and go to his studio and we'll do all the work there. So now you have a joint ventureship with John in even a different country.
Okay.
And that's what he started doing. And now he calls them locations all over the world. And he doesn't own a single one of them, doesn't pay rent on them, doesn't deal with any of that. He just says, hey, I'm going to send you Susie to go to the studio, and he pays them a flat fee. And they're happy as can be.
Fascinating. It sounds really interesting and food for thought.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that little secret.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. This is where we discuss great ideas to take your business to the next level. How do we know these ideas work? Well, it's because we're talking with business owners who are using these ideas. Business owners who have years of experience and expertise. All things business by business owners for business owners. And now, here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. You can catch it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today my guest is Steve Feld, and I want to know if you've ever thought about going into a joint venture with someone. And it's a strategy that business owners can do and be dedicated to doing that. Our guest Steve is a business coach and is certified as a business coach, and he's an author, professional speaker, a podcast host, and award-winning business management executive. His goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and to stop making running their business so difficult. Oh, I'll have to listen to that. He has owned and operated 7 businesses and turned around 3 others. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire him to crack multiple 6 and 7 figures without burning themselves out. Oh, I'll need to know that one too. Welcome, Steve, and thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
So tell me, why is it that people have joint ventures with other businesses?
I think it's one of the greatest ways to grow your business. Think of it like, okay, Rose has her tribe, I have my tribe. And they're similar, but Rose and I do things differently. Now, Rose and I can get into a joint venture together. So let's say Rose has a master class coming up and she wants to promote it. She comes to me and says, hey, can you help me promote my master class? I say, sure. Send out some emails, do some social media posts. So now I'm introducing Rose to my tribe. My tribe now that finds the interest in it goes to Rose's masterclass. She does her magic, they sign up with her, and then Rose gives me an affiliate fee for sharing the tribe. And it can work multiple ways. So we could do that way as one, but you could do it for any business. And I've done it with landscapers, contractors, and you're thinking like, how can a landscaper have a joint venture program? Well, they're cutting grass and trimming the bushes and everything. But don't you think they notice the paint on the side of the house? Or the concrete that's chipping away on the driveway? So now they can go to the business owner who knows, likes, and trusts them and says, listen, your house looks like it's about time for a paint job. And they say, yeah, well, I got this guy, Peter Painter, will take care of you. So now he connects the homeowner with Peter the Painter. Peter the Painter gets the job and pays the landscaper a fee. So there's many different ways to do it. So you can actually be referring to someone or someone refers to you. So if Rose, like I referred people or brought people to Rose and she paid me, Well, that's it. Because now she gets paid, she pays me. I could do the same thing from her point of view. It's like, wow, you brought me people, I'll pay you. So it works
Okay,
both
I always want
ways.
to know how they worked. Sounds like a good working relationship.
Absolutely. And I mean, I have joint venture partners that are CPAs that actually promote me for a master class to their clients. I do the master class. And if they become my client, I actually then pay the CPA a fee. But we put it in a scholarship fund and we do some great magic with his business that way. But it's a great way to help more people because we're here to help. We're not here to hurt them. And we're trying to help these business owners get the right tools and strategies in their business to grow.
So how does one get into a joint venture? Do you just go and ask somebody, or, do you join a group, or, how does it all work?
Well, there are groups out there, joint venture groups, but the easiest way, we actually create something called an event chain. So you put yourself on a straight line, put yourself dead in the middle. Now, who would refer business to you is kind of like your downstream partners. So let's say in the wedding industry, I'll take florist for an example. So no one, when they are going to get married, think of the florist right away. The first thing that happens to start the whole event chain is the jeweler, because it just doesn't start until someone buys a ring and puts it on a finger, period. But once the ring's on the finger, the first thing that they think of is, I need a reception hall. Where am I going to get married? Because that's hard to find sometimes. So they're in the next in line. And then it moves up to like maybe, after that, it's like the dress. And then finally it comes down, there's a few more, and then the flowers. Well, at the dressmaker, they can be talking to the bride-to-be and say, do you have flowers yet? No. We'll go talk to Steve. He's the florist. So they just referred me business to me, and I'll pay them for that in kind for that. But then there's vendors after me as well. And this is where it takes a lot of deep thought. So I know the cake maker is after the florist because you got to order the flowers early. And then you got to taste so many cakes. That's why they're afterwards. Same thing with the stationery and the printing and the limo driver and the honeymoon. That's all after the florist. So now when they're coming in for the flowers, I can say, hey, have you thought of your chauffeur, your limo? Well, no, I know someone. So now I'm referring upward. So it works both ways. You're down and you're up. But creating that event chain, it is not easy. And I've spent hours and hours with business owners. We were working on it. We're brainstorming because they have to be in the right order. And then you have to approach them in the right way with the right offer so they say yes.
Mm. Yeah, I think that would be the hard part would be crafting the offer to get them to say yes. So what would be an ideal, some email that you might send them? Or would you
Actually,
rather do it in person?
you got to build that relationship. This is a relationship. I mean, it can be done. I mean, I have joint venture partners in Europe, Canada, all over the world, but we've met through networking and got to build a relationship. Then we started talking, how can we work together on joint ventures? We knew that, hey, we can do something together, but how? And then we worked it out. So it could be anywhere, but you really want to build that relationship because you're looking for long-term, not one and done. One and done doesn't help you. That's a lot of work to do. And I just helped one of my clients do this. They actually are setting up, I can't believe he's doing this. They're setting up a brochure with all their vendors before them and after them and putting a little snippet in this brochure. He's putting money up to create a landing page and pay for pay-per-click advertising to draw people to that so they download the brochure. Now what happens is he has all the contact information and he'll go to the dressmaker for one. He'll go to this one for another. He now becomes like the rainmaker of joint ventures. and they all pay him a fee for a referral business. So he learned, hey, wait, I'm not going to sit here and wait for my phone to ring. I'm going to make it ring and then use my joint ventures to fill up my bank account.
Interesting. It's an interesting way to be able to make money, I suppose. It would be, as you say, time consuming though for him to be able to get all that together. And I guess, as you said, it's financially a commitment to get the website and the pamphlets and everything up and going.
Yeah, I mean, when we were working with him, we had his landing page and the brochure done in maybe almost 2 hours tops, because we've done it, and he knew who his joint venture partners were already, and he already had something about each one, so it sped the process along quite a bit. And when he approached them and said, hey, I'm going to do this and I'll pass leads to you, they couldn't say yes fast enough. So we had the whole thing up and running in just a day or so, but we worked hard on the event chain before that to know who is referring business to him and who he can refer business to them.
Yeah, that would be the time consuming part, is getting the event chain going.
Putting that thought into it. And, it works for service-based businesses as well, because there's businesses that create problems for people. So I joke about this. One of my people that refer business to me are business brokers. So that if someone comes, they want to sell a business broker says, you don't have anything to sell, go talk to Steve. I work with them for a few years, build them up, but we create problems because now they need more people because they're doing better. They need a better CPA. They need a whole bunch of other things. So I have those partners. And then eventually I turn them right back over to the business broker, so they were before me and after me. So it can work a couple different ways.
All right. So, but, I guess with a service-based business, how would that how can you create an event chain for that? I mean, I sell podcast production. So that's what I do. So, how could I create an event chain with my podcast production?
So podcast production, when people come to you, they're saying, I want a podcast, right? And you kind of do everything for them.
Yeah.
Now you got to find those people where they're at. So this is where you could do a workshop seminar for wherever those people are. So I know someone who does what you do, and here's how he does it. So I'm going to share his secret. He actually partners up with different types of coaches, consultants, business associations, because he knows his people, the people who want to do a podcast, are out there. They just don't want to deal with all the the editing and the production and everything else. So he knows that. So what he does is he finds those partners and says, I'm going to do a workshop, a webinar. So they promote his webinar, and if someone signs up, he compensates them back. But now he has an influx of clientele. So he created a problem actually for himself. He goes, now he came to me and he goes, I need someone who's good with human resources. Well, why? I need to hire people.
Okay.
And it's like, I know how most of you find people, but it's like he wanted to have full-time staff. He also had who do you know who wholesales equipment? Because now he had to build a bigger studio. He was starting to do so much more business, and it was expanding. So he started developing joint venture relationships with people who had podcast studios in different parts of the country. So if I wasn't in your side of the town, I can you could say, hey, go see, John, and go to his studio and we'll do all the work there. So now you have a joint ventureship with John in even a different country. And that's what he started doing. And now he calls them locations all over the world. And he doesn't own a single one of them, doesn't pay rent on them, doesn't deal with any of that. He just says, hey, I'm going to send you Susie to go to the studio, and he pays them a flat fee. And they're happy as can be.
Fascinating. It sounds really interesting and food for thought.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that little secret. Now the whole world will know.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll hear this and go, Steve.
Tell me about your podcast.
I'm sorry.
Tell me about your podcast.
My podcast is called Biz Coach and Coffee. So I bring on experts to help, and my listeners are all small business owners, entrepreneurs, and coaches. So the experts, we focus on whatever their specialty is, and they share their strategy or some kind of strategy tip that can help those business owners implement it that day too. And then they also give away a gift. And that's another way of monetizing podcasts is through affiliate links.
Mm.
So I monetize the podcast that way. I'm very open about it to my listeners and everything else.
Yeah, I might have to have a chat with you afterwards.
And sponsors. I'm just saying, get a sponsor for your podcast.
All right, well, we'll chat later.
Absolutely.
And so tell me about your awards that you've won.
Let's see. On one of my businesses, I won Small Business of the Year award for my whole city. And that was quite an honor. And then another one we won is I bought a failing retail store, and it was failing pretty bad. And I noticed their cost of goods were around like 55%. So they're not making any money. So I went in, renegotiated all the contracts with the vendors, got better deals, better vendors. I moved my cost of goods down to 8%, and I wrote a paper about it, and it got picked up by a global organization for entrepreneurial development. So they awarded me their annual award for having such a great concept, and the savings was so big.
Well done. Congratulations. That's a
And then one
big
award
feather.
working for other people in their turning their businesses around. Next thing you know, their industry awarded me. And I'm like, I'm really not an employee.
That's amazing. That's well done. Well, any award of recognition is always a good thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And as for many business owners, you never get that pat on the back sometimes.
No, you don't. You just do the work and just goes unnoticed. And then sometimes it gets a little bit, I don't know, tiring because you think you just put all this work in and they get the kudos and you're the one who's done all the work and you get nothing.
Exactly. Hopefully your bank account shows
it. Yeah, that's it. So what other strategies are there to get into joint ventures, and how can you nurture those relationships?
I think the biggest thing is how I started really getting deep into the joint ventures. I was doing it in the past, but I decided to go a little deeper in it. So I went and sought out groups that were joint venture centric. So there are groups such as like JVology, JVIC, and there's tons of others. But now if you're going into those groups, guess what? Everyone's like-minded. So they're all thinking joint ventures, I'm not going to sell you my junk.
Mm.
So they're thinking with a different mindset. Plus, they're being educated on how to do a joint venture properly. So it's not haphazard. And I wish I could say all joint ventures were perfect. Not all of them were great. You live and you learn.
Mm.
But being in those kind of groups with those people with the same mindset and the same kind of goals, it's a lot easier because you don't have to educate them on what a joint venture is. They get it.
Mm.
The new people, they're learning. But when you go and approach a business owner who's never done this before, it's going to take a little bit of work and time and patience because they don't understand what you're talking about.
Mm.
It's foreign to them.
Mm.
But I'm seeing more and more businesses, mainly service-based businesses, are entering joint venture partnerships with people.
Yeah, it sounds like it can be worthwhile, especially if you're getting, some remuneration for it at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I even promote this one person. She has, excuse me, a couple of events, and she does this one weekly event, but it's for free. But she knows that if I keep promoting and I put in my newsletter every week, and I'm an affiliate of hers, if someone buys through it, they know they're going to see it in the tracking. And then I get a little check every now and then. And I was joking with her. I said, I got $5 from you the other day. And she goes, you get paid on every single one. So they're always going to be like little teeny chunks. And I go, yeah, I got a whole bunch of little teeny chunks. But you know what? I'll take those little teeny chunks. They add up pretty fast.
Yeah, every little bit helps, doesn't it? And it does add up eventually to, a big chunk.
There you go. And a lot of people are selling higher ticket items, and the affiliate fee might be 30-40%, which can turn around to be a great partnership. I know someone I know, they're in a couple great relationships with people. They're bringing in around 20,000 a month in just referral fees, affiliate fees from being joint ventures, just joint ventures.
So what is a good percentage as an affiliate fee? I mean, I've heard that, 10% is not too bad, but is that too low?
It depends on the item. So if it's an automated program that, you're selling, like, hey, get into my automated stuff for $100 a month, then the affiliate fee might be 50-60% because you're not doing anything. You're just signing them up. But if it's something like a high ticket one-on-one coaching for, say, 3,000, then it's like, okay, the affiliate fee might be about 20-30%. So everything kind of has a range. And as you get deeper into it, you start realizing there's kind of averages on certain size products. So something that's like 10,000, the affiliate fee might be 10% because that's still a good day.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, all right. So the more expensive, the less percentage you would ask or give.
Yeah, and the more labor that gets put into it, then the lesser percentage. So it's a kind of a balance on that. And I've had automated programs where I've told people, I'll give you 50% all day. And they're like, why? And I go, I'll take half of $100 a month is a good day. Because I'm not doing anything. I signed them up. I put them in the system and
They're
walked
there.
away.
Yeah, that's right. It's, money for jam, really, isn't it?
That's it.
So, Steve, where can people find you if they want to know more about joint ventures or they'd like to work with you?
My website is bizcoachsteve.com. It's B-I-Z, Coach Steve. I'm all over LinkedIn and Facebook. Those are my two platforms that I'm usually on. And what I usually do with people is just like, let's just talk. I'm not trying to sell you anything because I've been doing this for 6 years now. I do 15-minute, like a just talk. So any business owner, they can vent, they can talk about their business, and they're not going to get judged or shoved a product down their throat. It's like, they just need sometimes someone to talk to. And I've done that for years. And it's amazing how people at the end of 15 minutes goes, wait, you didn't sell me anything? You didn't recommend one of your products or anything? I'm like, no, I'm not here to judge or sell you anything. It's like, we were here to talk so you can vent because you have no one else to talk to.
Yeah, sometimes that's all we need, isn't it? We don't need someone shoving down our throats, their next fabulous product or service. We just need someone to be able to talk to, just to, as you say, vent and, maybe get some feedback on something that you're having a bit of an issue with.
That's it. And, if my products and services appeal to you and that's what it needs, then I'll let you know, but I'll be upfront about it.
Yes, and that's a lot of people aren't upfront about stuff like that. And it's good to know that there are people like yourself that are upfront and honest about things that, what they're going to do and what they're not going to do.
Exactly. Yeah, if I can't help them, I probably have in my contacts someone who can. I'll refer them to them and not a problem.
That's it. Steve, have you got any words of wisdom or something that you'd like to share with our audience today?
I would say the biggest thing, and I learned this the hard way, the real hard way, is ask for help. If your business is struggling, or even in your personal life, you have problems and the weight's coming down, just reach out and ask for help. There's always someone there to help you. Believe it or not, put your ego and your attitude to the side and just get the help you need. And I swear it'll turn your life around and make it so much better.
Good advice. Absolutely. It's more of that is needed. People asking for help instead of doing it the hard way and ending up on the wrong end of life.
That's it.
All right, Steve, thank you so much for your insights today. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and I'm just about to go and stalk you on LinkedIn now.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me. I hope everyone out there just kick butt and have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.